Hey guys, today I'm going to be reviewing one of my VODs from the Team Liquid Qualifiers, Day 2. So, I ended up finishing 33rd, and it was really rough because I was the first one out of the tournament, and I really feel like I could have done better. And there was a particular game where I ended up playing Zedd, and it just was not a very good game. You know, we'll get into the gameplay. And there was some key mistakes that I made that I feel I could have really done better and placed a bit higher and got that one or 2 points back in this game that I would have needed to go on to the next round in Day 3. So without further ado, let's just get into the gameplay. So see like the loading screen here. So in this lobby at Rosma, I played with him a lot. Thunder Pika's a really good player. A lot of these players are high masters, low grandmasters players who just haven't had a chance to climb yet this season. So I come in carousel here. I was playing a lot of Kale in the tournament, so I was trying to open bow. I feel like Rod is also a really good opener because it gives you that locket slam that you need to conserve HP early game so you can make it out of your transition into your late game carry. So not much to talk about here. We're just looking to play units out of the bow pivot. Bow is pretty flexible opener right now because you can play Olaf. You can end up pivoting into Warlords, play Tryndamere. You can definitely play Zedd, which is what you'll see a little bit of this game. And you can also make Titans out of it, which opens like early Siphon or Nasus, which I personally don't like playing into the late game, but is really strong early and through the mid game. Diana's obviously really powerful with Titan's Resolve right now. Throw a Hex Tech on her, you're chilling. So just like a lot of options. So see here, we have like the Brawler opener. I really like the Brawler opener. I think I would probably want to get this Trist here, you know, like it's important to have like the carry on the Sharpshooter. You see I'm trying to actually buy it here with my 0 gold. So let's see. Just going through some gameplay here. So there's the Titans. Like in this situation, you probably pick up the Diana because like if you high roll and hit your Diana Chosen. Yeah, exactly. Now I have both pairs. I have Trist pair. Teemo here is pretty good. You know, I should probably like here. You should probably wait to see if you make gold, and then like buy your pairs. But also Teemo like leaves Zedd open. There's a lot of good units. Like you definitely want gold here because there's a lot of good units on the reel that you want to buy. You want to hold Zedd, keep that open. Tristana pair is really strong as like the item holder, and yeah. So Glove's kind of rough here because it doesn't give you a lot of direction. You can't really slam Last Whisper, and you can't slam, obviously, Shroud early game. Like, it's not very good in the early game, whereas, like, late game it becomes one of the most premier amazing items. So, one thing I really like to do when you're looking to play Zedd is you kind of like force Lost Streak on the opener and scout and position your units to try to kill as much as you possibly can. So like here the first major mistake is like even like early game, if you're Lost Streaking, like it's so much more important to scout positioning because like you see the Zedd here, this Zedd could have gone with Diana on the backline with the Lulu and baited Teemo back. Like your goal when you're Lost Streaking is to kill 1 or 2 units and not like fully not fully win a round. And the other important reason to scout is that like if you're Lost Streaking and somebody else is Lost Streaking, then you don't want to lose to the person who's open forwarding. It's super important. So I play the Maokai with the Brawlers here. I don't know if I support this decision. Like, if you're gonna commit to the Lost Streak, you should just fully commit to it. Like, this is kind of jittery here. Like, this is definitely like the best board that I have. Scouting, you know, everyone looks pretty strong in the lobby, so like really like playing this best board is not gonna do all that much more for me. like, for example, in this match, definitely, right? Like, I made my board stronger, and then there's no telling who I'd play, but, like, I didn't change the outcome of it at all. I closed my Chosen. I have, like, Maokai and Tom pair that I'm holding on the bench now. And so, like, I think what you do here now is, like, I just scrap my Maokai, my Kenches, and then, like, I play into the Zedd with Yumi. Triss Glove's fine. She's just an item holder, so it's never gonna, like, go anywhere else. But I should have definitely, like, scrapped Chosen here. Again, same problem. Like, I have 4, 5, 6 gold on the field now. I could just play Diana with Zedd and then sell Yumi and, like, one of the Dianas and make income. Like, it's super important when you're lose streaking to, like, make that income early. And if you're gonna, like, play Zedd, then you really need your RFC, and you also need your Runon's Hurricane. So, like, in that situation, hindsight's 20/20, but you obviously get the Zedd on the carousel here. See, slamming the bow on the other Zedd is now, like, it feels bad too, because I got one Zedd with a bow, I got another Zedd with a bow. Like, it didn't affect the outcome of the fight at all. I knew it was going to be Zedd, but, like, my thinking was too linear. So now we have the 3 loss streak. Again, yeah, the Maokai just needs to go away. So solo Kench can, like, maybe stall while you kill some units here. Like, this is okay board. I'm not necessarily certain if this is my best board or not, but it's pretty okay. Again, I kind of got lucky on the scout. Like, by the time you've played, like, 3 people, you really need to be keeping track of, like, who you've played against, so that you know who, like, of the 4 people you can play or 3 people you can play, how do you position your backline assassins? Because when you're open forting or you're just playing for loss streak, you're usually playing units. You're playing like Zedd. You're playing Akali. Akali's fantastic for this. You know, Kindred's pretty good, and then you use your frontlighter to, like, bait them away so you can get her to cast her ability on a squishy. Like, all of these, you know, sweating the scouting early like this saves you that 5 or 6 HP that you need early game, where you can sack 1 additional round late game and, like, roll for the things that you need to do. You have to visualize it as, like, you're sacking, you know you're gonna lose lives, but conserving the HP that you need to make it to make it 1 more round in the late game can be the difference in these high elo lobbies between, like, you know, a 6th place or a 4th place. And that's super key to keep in mind. So, I mean, 70 HP is kind of like my 5 loss target here, but we're well below, like, the amount of gold I should have. I should have 30 right now, going into at least 30, if not 40, going into this neutral round. So there's the spirit that I pick up. I have my 4th spirit now. I play 1-0 out of it. So key to positioning in spirit is actually, like, keeping in mind that your spirit units need to cast in order for you to get the attack speed steroid. So again, like, the skill incorporated it for, like, Zedd 1 tricks or Diana 1 tricks is, like, ensuring that you have spirit units that are going to cast. That's why, like, Locket is such an essential item that is almost like, I think item priority in these comps go you know, RFC, and then you need your Runons. You want as many Zeeks as possible, and then Locket is like the next in terms of your prio. If you can get it early game, like and your board's super weak, sometimes it's like better to prio for the Locket, because the Locket gives, with a 2-cost unit and Locket, it gives the spirit units all the HP that they need to cast, so it's super essential when you're playing it in this comp. Like Teemo, you see, is like just like a really like weak unit. Kindred is a really weak unit. Like, they don't have time to cast. And even Yuumi 1 can get blown up to the point where she doesn't get to cast on, like, your Zedd. So, you see how strong the comp is, like, when all the spirit units are actually able to cast. Like, this is actually like a decently productive win here. While he may have like wanted to sack one more, like your goal when you're playing lose streak Zedd like this is to basically lose all of stage 2 and then win all stage 3 if you can. Like that puts you in the best possible position to achieve your Zedd 3. So here's kind of where the high roll comes in, but the mistake is also made. So I have to take this Zedd. But I also like want to get both of my items off my like I can't hold these other Zedd pairs to get Zedd 3. So like it's really rough when you're playing Zedd like that, because you're gonna sit and you're gonna roll. You don't really have like the luxury of playing 2 Zeds. But like you slam your items on your Zedd early, and then like if you get the chosen Zedd, you just have to sell them to get the items off because you need to play the chosen. Like, in that fight there, that's a huge Locket diff. Also, here's kind of where your decisiveness comes in. So you're like, I have the 1 Zedd pit on the bench, but like, I need, you know, 5 additional Zeds to hit Zedd 3. So like here I'm like, okay, I'm making the decision to sack this. I need my board strength. I think that's the right call there. Just putting another bow on the Zedd gives in the 15%, and it just like, it really makes a difference. Like any ounce of attack speed that you can get on Zedd. There, like Yuumi not casting is such a big deal. I still win the round, but like you need your Yuumi to cast every time. The steroid that she puts on Zedd is just too good. So we're going into carousel here. The prio should definitely be Locket. I should take the Sejuani like 10 out of 10 times. The only other open option here is to take, I mean there's a lot of good options, like I need Locket, but I end up taking Spat here. And so, like, Duelist Zedd is, yes, insane. Especially when you have, like, you can play Jax, like, for the front line. But, like, Duelist Spat is your insane, like, third item. What part of what this game taught me is that, like, RFC is still a better item on Zedd than Duelist Spat. Well, RFC obviously, but Runons, I mean, is still a better item on Zedd than Duelist Spat. And so, like, you can slam the Duelist here and you can play Jax out of this, but you lose Slayer until you get to 7 now. And, like, where this Chain Vest, if I would have just slammed Locket, like, I keep Zedd open. So, like, now I'm looking at my board and, like, what you should immediately be looking at this pivot is, like, your Zedd and your Spirits are strong enough to get you through the mid game. And this is the point in the game where you should be looking at Kayle. Duelist Spat Kayle is like one of the most premier carries in the game right now, other than like the Prey Soul comps that everyone's playing. Like Kayle positioned properly is an easy top 4 Duelist Kayle, if not like a victory on the whole entire lobby if you high roll the rest of your frontline units. Also, playing from like Jax here in Spirit, like Kayla's a very easy transition because you just drop your 2 spirits, you drop your Diana and your Teemo, and you keep your Yuumi and your Kindred for your Executioner and your Spirit. Like, this is that hindsight is 2020 pivot opening up here. So, like, this is how things start to change. Like, you definitely take the Aurelia. You maybe consider playing it over Jax. See, I'm looking at the traits here. Again, like, another really tough thing is, like, and I wish I could come back, like, in a spectator mode and show this to you from the VOD, but, like, the scouting is so rough. Like, I've definitely scouted enough to know where I need to put Zedd, where he works in the back line, outside in. You always want to position Zedd opposite the clump, because now that Zedd's no longer Shade, and even before he was Shade, he has no disengage capability. And you really need to... Like, selling the units there is a mistake. If you get gold, I would have been able to hold all of those units. I just want to point that out quickly. But, like, you really want to keep your Zedd away from danger and just let him take, like, little pot shots and heal up with the Slayer buff. But if you put Zedd in the middle of the clump, like, especially with, like, your Zedd lands in the middle of, like, an ASOL clump, you're just fucked. So, like, the skill in playing Zedd properly comes from, like, scouting out properly. So, this becomes an interesting situation. Is like, you need Runons on Zedd to be effective, but you see that you're playing Kayle in this situation, you already have the Duelist spat, you slam Sword of the Divine. This is always correct. And to be honest, once you're at level 7, in my opinion, that's where, like, people start to have their 4-cost carries, their ASOLs come online. Like, probably, in hindsight, you, especially in a tournament setting here, you're playing for your top 4 to get the most points, you slam Locket. Like, in this situation, if I slam Locket on Pyke there... So Duelist Divine Zedd, actually insane in transition, very good. Slayer buff now at 7 gives him, he has Spirit to amplify his attack speed, Slayer, Divine, Duelist, and the 1 ninja buff. So this Zedd is like a crank all through stage 4 now. You take this Xayah 10 out of 10 times. There's actually an interesting guide with an argument about playing 2 Executioner or 4 Executioner, but not 3 Executioner with Xayah, and keeping the Spirit buff for your Kayle. I think it was DQA put it out. Really good posts about it. Go check it out on the Reddit if you haven't seen it yet. DQA is a really, really good player. Again, the Zedd positioning's good, you know, keeping him opposite clumps. Like, so far in this game, like, we just have, like, small, minor mistakes that I've made. The opening mistake is big. You know, needing to hold the units for the Kayle transition is also huge. Like, holding the Aurelia. So the thing here is, like, yeah, Tryndamere seems like he'd be stronger with Slayer and Duelist, but I think that, like, Trynd 1 is actually such a grief without any items or anything. Like, he's just gonna die. Also, like, not taking Locket on Carousel right now, like, My spirit units are lucky. Here's where scouting would have been huge. Like, all I needed to do, I have no Locket, I have no Zeeks, like there's no reason for my Zedd to be there. I literally just needed to move him back. If you are playing Zedd comp and you get your Zedd Zephyred, you are just so doomed. Like, the fact that I have Divine Duelist Zedd carries me through there with the RFC, but like, it's just so doomed. So Carousel Prio here is probably, like, if you're smart, you grab like the other bow, because like, or you grab like Trap Claw for Kale or something, but like, you need to, the mistake I'm making here is like, you've decided that you're playing Kale. This Zedd, as you're gonna see, if I remember correctly, just drops off a cliff on stage 5. There becomes like too many tanky 2-star frontline units for him to break through fast enough. He doesn't have cleave with Runons, and I can't sell the Zedd because it's like my chosen. And you also see, like, the obvious sign is I haven't natural any more Zeds. So like, to roll at 7 for like Zedd right now with the spirits, and you already 2-star your spirits, like, you're just burning gold, like looking for loose Zeds without getting that much stronger. And I feel like it's just never correct. Rakan 2 is just so strong. I mean, he doesn't even have like correct items on him, but like, having a 2-cost champion that literally shields himself, disarms units, essentially stunning them, because like, disarming units is super strong because it renders them unable to generate mana to cast their abilities unless they're getting hit. And so like, Rakan is just like way too powerful. For a 2-cost unit, Rakan is so strong. And then Lulu as well, like, is what really makes the Elderwood comp core. Like, they both have great synergy traits for what play around like the Asol or the Xayah. You know, Xayah Rakan gives you 2 Elderwood and 2 Keeper, and then you only need the 3rd Elderwood. Like, Lulu for a 2-cost, her ability, like with her overgrowth, is honestly on par with 3-cost, maybe even 4-cost strength of like abilities. And I get that like, she's usually a synergy bot holder or like a holder for Chalice, but like, you need to ask yourself like, what unit you would rather have in the game. Would you rather have your Lulu, or would you rather have like an itemless Trend, or versus like an itemless Lulu, or an itemless Rakan versus like, you know, an itemless Trend? Like, comparing the strength or power of those 2 units, I get Trend, you know, really benefits off his synergies, but like, as bots, what really makes Elderwood strong is that like, the synergy bot characters in Elderwood are just by and far way stronger than the synergy bot characters in other comps. Like, who are your synergy bots in Dragon Soul? Like, Braum is good in transition, but late game, like, it's kind of a grief. And then Brand is just like terrible compared to the other mage champions. He's just not good at all. So like, in terms of power, raw power, like the 2-cost Elderwood synergy bots are just so much better than the other units. So now we're rolling into, we got a Zeeks here. That's really good for Kale. You know, you like slam it on Kindred here, and this is where you really need to be looking to play Kale. So it's like, I'm even fine with holding the Zedd in transition, but like, you see, like, hitting no Zeds. Tryndamere pops online. Probably take that Sivir. Like, the roll down here is just scuffed. Ornn, like, it's 5-1, and Ornn has no synergies. There I had 1 Kale, 2 Kales literally right there that I could have played. Swain's probably correct, but like, if I remember correctly, like, you just start to bleed out now. Rakan's just too strong, man. There was the Kale. So now you could be like opening. There's like Yone, you play him. You definitely need to drop 2 Spirit here. Like, even if it's just to drop the Diana to get the Shroud off to like position it for 1 round to conserve the HP, like, it's that much stronger. There was like Kale 2 right there. So like in this situation, you pause. Hold on, let me pause really quick. Like, Kale, think about how much stronger Kale 2 is than Zedd with these units. Like, Kale 2 comes in here, you have another Divine unit, so you have 3 Divine. Your Aurelia comes in here, swaps it out for the Divine spat, gives you 4 Divine. You have Duelist with the Jax still. You drop the Diana, maybe put the Chalice on like Fiora for now until you hold. You have a Yone on your bench, and then like all you really need is Shen and you're chilling. You drop this Teemo, and like your comp has been fully transitioned. Like, as another unit, you know, like you can play around with what you want to do. Then like you could add in a Lee Sin to get your 4 Duelists, like keep your Tryndamere in here and let him just be a floater unit, super strong. Honestly, like, you slam this Divine Spat on Trend and he's gonna do work like by himself. You're coming into 5th Carousel and like you have the ability to pick up another item for your KO. Like, that was just the pivot that I missed here. Like, how many places relative to lobby strength, if you position with a Shroud, you literally have Shroud on Asol, Clump, Zeeks, and Duelist Kale with RFC to gear up here. You get Mystic in there with Shen from Yuumi, your Kale doesn't get one shot, and like, that's how you transition your board out of this spot into like the late game. It's just so much stronger. Instead, you know, we just kind of sit here and if I remember correctly, like we just bleed out. Like, even Zillion over for like the Mystic is better. There's so many Asol players in the game right now. It's just, even that match is like really close losses, but like the subtlety of it is can be lost on you. Like, even the Divine Spat on like the Zedd is kind of a grief because like it gives him true damage for a period of time, helps him shred units. But Runon's Hurricane excuse me, would literally double his damage output there. There's like another Shen comes back around. Shen comes in for Adept. You have Aurelia for the Enlightened. There's like another Kale, another opportunity to play it. You have Morgana, you can flex with Siphoner, like another Kale. Like, I had ample opportunities to pivot this comp out and become stronger. And the mistake that of not pivoting into the Kale and leaving these items on Zedd, not having the RFC, like the indecisiveness here. In most games, most lobbies, like, yeah, this is strong enough for a top 4. But you're playing in a tournament like this, and like, even the smallest mistakes. There's been, what, counted 3 rounds that we could have won here? If you flip it on its head, you know, I'm 30 HP, some of the other players in the lobby are 20 HP. There's literally a second Duelist Spat here. There's Rabadons for Kale, 2 with Duelist Spat, doesn't really like need any more attack speed. Would be so strong in terms of like pumping up her damage output. The lesson learned here is just play Kale. If you hit Z3, great. You need RFC, you need Runons, just play Kale. Don't try to flex with your Zedd items. It doesn't work very well. The sheer amount of like Aurelias. Also, do a spat Yon. Probably the right decision generally. But we'll watch it perform in fights. Like, my kind of notion is that like putting it on with so many like melee units and so many people clumping, like don't undervalue the ability of the unit to actually like land their auto attacks. You see like the Yone AI like here is griefing. He maybe like he didn't even maximize like Duelist the entire game, whereas like if that item goes on like Kindred or something, she's able to maximize like the damage she does from the backside. Like as you can see, that's all she wrote. You literally see so laggy here is like the next place up on me with 6 HP. You know, the HP that you could have found in those rounds playing Kayle and like transitioning out would have gave me that extra 1 point that I needed to advance another round in the tournament. The thing is, when you play Zedd, like you're a Zedd one trick or something, that's fine, but just know what your outs are. Like when your items are gifted to you to play like a different comp, you need to be able to be flexible. You need to be able to transition out into something else and play it. But that being said, you know, top of the lobby here, you have your Elderwood comps. Elderwood's just super strong right now. Brave Soul, everyone knows, is very strong. You know, second place, Dragon Soul is pretty powerful. This guy literally is just printing off Ornn 2 when we ended the lobby. We have another Ornn 2. So, you know, like when you see people who are kind of high rolling like this and printing their items, Samir 2 with Slayer, like there's not much you can do to like win the game second or third. Like you're playing for your top 4. This guy's Elderwood comp, also kind of a high roller here. But like we definitely could have gotten this 5th slot here. And like never underestimate the value of playing up for one more position. Because like in TFT, what'll help you gain elo in the long run, what'll help you win tournaments is if you play up one more spot. Like just every game you play, go watch your VODs 2-3 days later, like think, how could I have made it one extra spot? How could I have gained 10 LP here? How could I have gained one point in the tournament that pushes me over the top? Because like it's the inches in this game that add up over the long term, to help you become like a better player, to help you climb. So that's all I got for the VOD today, guys. If you like this content, like give me some feedback. You know, I'm really new to doing these and I want to get better. Anything I can do to make the videos more enjoyable, editing tips, whatever. Drop a like or subscribe if you want to see some more of this, and I'll do my best to try to turn out a couple of these a week to help you guys, you know, follow me on my climb, and to hopefully some of this advice will help some of you improve your play as well. Thank you very much, and that's all for now. Thanks.